What's up, guys? Today we're here shooting our first interview for Selfish, and I'm just going to give you guys a little background before I actually introduce the interviewee. But Selfish is just about women embracing, who they are, and just investing more time, love, and energy into themselves in order to become the woman that they envision. And today, with the young lady that we are going to be interviewing, Tiana Bryant, she is a person that we feel exemplifies everything about the selfish movement. From the things that she stands for, to the things that she's pursuing in life, and just who she is. So I'd like to introduce Tiana Bryant. And today we're just going to cover just some things that she's been doing in life and, how she's overcome some obstacles. What do you feel is your biggest self-investment right now that you've made thus far?
Well, you mentioned time, and I think time and self-care is probably my biggest investment thus far. Really making sure that I take care of myself and
Right.
I get my personal space.
Most definitely.
One of the main things that we're not selfish with is our time, but it's the one thing that we can't get back. We can literally get everything back. We can get money back. We can get all that other stuff back. But time is important. So, just making sure that the people I surround myself with are considerate of me and, are contributing knowledge and love and those
Right.
sorts of things. So that's probably been my biggest self-investment that's taken me very hard.
And I mean, that taps into like your mental well-being. So I know that helps you, become more positive and just, lead a better life. So that's definitely something that I want people to take, from this interview from you. Another question I wanted to ask you was, what was your take on networking, and do you see any true value in networking?
So yeah, you'll have a lot of people talk to you about networking. Networking can be hard because a lot of us are kind of awkward when it comes to it.
Yes.
You don't want to have an agenda and seem weird and seem pushy. And so it definitely is something that you need nuance for. It is beneficial though, for sure. And I'm not perfect at it. I let a lot of people slip when I was working at Live Nation that I wish I could have done more and talked to them more and got them to know me. But I think that's really what it's about. So when you're working, aside from just networking events or meeting people for the first time, when you're working in an office, I think it's just very important to talk to these people. At Live Nation, they tried to get me to, my supervisor tried to get me to make meetings with the different people in the office, just so they can know my face, so I can have a face-to-face conversation with them and kind of establish that connection, because that's really the main thing. It's not about sitting in front of them and for that very moment being like, so can you give me a job?
Right.
But later, maybe on down the line, after a conversation, I can add them on LinkedIn or that type of thing, and just follow up, and that's how people get jobs eventually.
So do you think it's more about creating a relationship with these people, or just having
say
them know or be aware of your presence?
I think it's a slow process, and so sometimes it's gonna start just with them knowing your presence.
Yeah.
And I would say when they say something to you, a lot of times they have a lot of knowledge, even off the first meeting, and even if it's just a short conversation, sometimes you can just email them later and say, hey, I appreciate that feedback. I appreciate that tip that you told me, and blah blah blah. And after you emailed them, you can kind of nurture that over time. It's harder to do it when you just meet people for the first time, but get their business card or give them yours. Try to connect later, that type of thing. You don't want to be overly pushy.
Okay.
I think, because it pushes them away, and they know that you have an agenda. But everyone knows people want to network, and people do want to help.
Yeah, so just being organic and really showing people that you're passionate about whatever it is.
For sure.
So
for sure. Following up, telling everyone thank you when you leave an internship, when you leave a job, just really doing it like that. When I was in LA, and I get very anxious, so I know it can be hard, but a lot of times when it's most important, you will snap into gear. You just got to trust yourself.
Right.
There was an event that I worked in LA where there was a bunch of CEOs, and I was just there being basically the help. I was just there.
Don't say
No, I'm not even lying. Like, I was really there to, I mean, that's that's how we were treated all
Okay.
day, right? Is to just like kind of show them around and that type of thing. Because they weren't trying to, Google was trying to network with Facebook. They weren't necessarily trying to
Okay.
network with me. But
Okay.
in that setting, because I'm just showing them around, and I look a mess compared to them. I'm like in a weird dress they put me in, and they're like business professional. And that was hard for me because it was all these people flying by of the dream companies that I would love to work for.
Right.
And at the end of the event, there was an after party, and we got invited to the party. And the girl, my supervisor of that, she told me that, well, if you guys have another outfit, you can change and you can go to the party or whatever. She said, or you can wear what you have on. When I tell you, I was not gonna wear that weak ass lime green dress they had me in. It was in the middle of Hollywood. I took off running out of the place that it was, down like Hollywood Boulevard. I'm like running, and I ran into like an H&M and like a few other stores just trying to find like a dress to put on because I looked a mess. Finally found something. Then I like ran back. My face was blank. I didn't bring anything with me, so I ran into Sephora. I literally did my face with the samples, y'all, because I looked a mess. I ran to like this nasty Hollywood bathroom, did my hair in like the sink and like the
Girl,
like,
you
just
had
some
to
curls.
be at the party.
Made it to the party like last minute,
Got there.
and and I got to network. And the first person that talked to me was a guy from Forbes, and he just kind of sparked a conversation. He was asking me, what kind of things I'm interested in, and he said, he was always willing to help people of color because there wasn't that much representation in the room. And so just like that, you can form small bonds.
Right.
You're not gonna make every shot that you take, not
Right.
just shooting shots, but it's always gonna be a hit or miss. But it's all about when you make it, or you can, the one that counts. You know what I mean?
Right, but
So,
I mean, just you being who you were afforded you that networking, you know what I'm saying? Afforded you that experience right there. So
yes, just putting yourself out there. For
yes, and that is how I want to close this interview. Just being confident in who you are and acting out on your dreams unapologetically, and not worrying about how am I going to make this work, and just believing in the actual dream is so genius, and people just don't really understand it. And that's why we wanted to interview you, because you embody that perfectly. You didn't know 3 months in LA, like that's crazy to people. Like how do you afford to stay in LA, or how this and how that, but how wasn't really, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't really that important because you knew that you were gonna make it happen.
Yes.
So we just want to encourage, with this interview, we hope that you can take things from Tiana, learn from them, and grow. But really, it's about the investment in yourself. It's about putting in the work for you to get to where you want to be. So we encourage you to keep moving, and we're gonna see you in Hollywood.
No, I can't do Hollywood, y'all. I gotta be in New York.
New York. Oh God. Thank y'all, and Selfish.